Evening all, welcome back to eveonline. So I thought today, this is me actually live spinning my ship, I thought I might do a bit of an asset tour and a bit of a hangar tour, only because people have been asking for it, and I guess this is me lifting the skirt and showing you what's under there, but I mean, you know, who cares, it's the game, right? And I thought what might be interesting is to kind of show you where the assets are and what I've kind of built over, gosh, 20 something years of playing this game. In fact, I have a poster on my wall if I turn around and I'm looking at it, and it's got my little date of birth on it that my partner made for me, which is very nice of her. And yeah, basically 21 years I've been I mean, not all the time, I mean, let's be honest, there's many years I've not played this game, but back in the day things were cheaper, things were easier, you know, it's like life, isn't it? I mean, literally everything, like house prices like 20 years ago, if I'd have known what I knew then, goodness me. And I think that's the same in Eve, because things like changing the way that science works, so to do material efficiency and production efficiency on blueprints, that was free. At least I think it was. And it was, even if then it wasn't, it was cheap and it was incredibly straightforward, and you could just do it for free, you could make copies for free, everything. It wasn't like a huge ISK sink. Anyway, so what I've done is I've pulled together kind of like a quick spreadsheet, which is completely crap, but you see my point. So I thought I'd just show you the things that I can't easily show you. So I actually have a number of ships, so let's start there. So I've got an Avatar, an Erebus, and a Leviathan, all logged off. The Leviathan is completely perma-locked. Like, I don't think I'll ever be able to log onto that character again. I think somebody tried to hack an account years ago. They did something with the account that now CCP suspect that account has been used for something inappropriate or something. I don't know. And I imagine you're all jamming your keyboards now saying, he's a bot or whatever. No, I'm not. For some reason, that account was locked, and I was told, you're never going to see this account again. Funny enough, I then got given the account back, and CCP said, there you go, all yours. But I can't log into the ship, so it's really weird. And I probably should put a bit of time and effort into figuring out what's going on with that. But yeah, the Avatar, the Erebus, the Leviathan. The Erebus is actually logged in deep space. I don't talk about it a huge amount because it's something that, again, it puts it at risk, so I'm not going to say any more about that. The Avatar and the Leviathan are in low security space. There's no risk to log them on, really. Well, except the Leviathan I can't, but the Avatar I could log on. But what's the point? Seriously, like every single day I see somebody saying, oh yeah, we just blew up a Titan because they logged on and they were trying to travel. I ain't going to log a Titan on when people are blowing stuff up, so that ain't going to happen. I've got a Nyx and I've got an Eon. So those are ships. I've put what I think is a fair market price for them. Post in the comments if you disagree. Around 215 billion for an Avatar, for the Titans. I think about 65 for the motherships, but again, you correct me if I'm wrong. They are all officer fit. So again, back in the day when officer modules were super easy peasy to get, they were all officer fit with pretty much the blingiest things I could get. I had an infinite supply of ISK at that point when I was part of an alliance leadership, and basically things like officer mods were easy. So all of these ships are pretty well fit, and I've been generous, I think, with my valuation of them. However, I would welcome a second appraisal, so please post in the comments if you disagree. We'll look at the blueprints next. So if I go into the hangar, it's a mess. I apologise. Welcome to the crib, Abdullah Pyrex, but it's a mess. I accept that. And the way I've structured it makes no sense whatsoever. In fact, I would be really interested to know how people structure their corporate hangars, because I've just always done it this way because I like it this way. But I had a corp of hundreds and hundreds of people, and it sort of worked, but it sort of didn't. So, you know, we'll post in the comments if you know a better way of doing this. But I always have a hangar floor. So the hangar floor is designed to be something that you can just quickly drop stuff in. It's a bit of a sort of staging point. You come back from a mission, you drop it in here, and then when you're ready to tidy it up, like I will show you now, you can just drag and drop into the respective areas. It's mostly just stuff that I pick up that I don't really know what to do with. Things like abyssal runs, things like you know, sort of wormhole goodness, and so on. So this is really kind of my landing point. Not a lot of value in here, so we won't include any of this. So if we go to the ship hangar floor, we can see we've got 13 or so billion. So let's just add that. So ships, and let's say there's about 13 billion there. So what have I got in here? Well, this is not everything, because I've got, what, 13, 14, 15 Tengus that are all pretty much officer fits. If I go to one now, let's have a look. Let me just show you the fitting of this, because people have asked. How'd you do that? I think it's that one. Oh my god, this is new. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? Not sure what it tells me, but it is something at least. What is it telling me? Fitting. There we go. So hopefully you can see that. Not massively officer fit or anything like that. In fact, they're not at all. The only things on it is the Domination Large Shield Booster and the Field Republic, blah, blah, whatever that is. I would think the value of it is what? Yeah, it's about 700 million. So I've got 14, 15, maybe 16 Tengus actually now I think about it. So each of them fit to this sort of value. So that's, you know, that's quite a lot of money. I probably won't include it because it's just day to day. You know, we would call those kind of tangible assets, things that are currently earning you money within your control. If we look at the hangar, this is just a mismatch of everything, and I honestly will be very clear with you, this is like 5% of the ships that I have dotted around. If I look at my asset list, it just makes me cry because there's so much stuff that I've never been able to rescue, and I should go and rescue it. I've got battleships all over Eve, and they're worth quite a lot of money now, so I probably should do that. But yeah, so let's just go through very quickly. So I've got a couple of things like a Barghest, couple of Navy Ravens that I was using to run missions. They're kind of cool. I love my Bitch Hunter. That's my favorite ship, the Bitch Hunter. I would say actually that my very first ship was an Armageddon. I mined in it, and then I switched to an Apocalypse because it had 8 mining laser slots. And this is back in the day, by the way. And it was I missed the Armageddon. To me, the Armageddon is still the definitive ship in the game, next to the Tempest. I think the Tempest is wonderful. Couple of things to point out, I would probably say, is we've got a few sort of rare ships. So like the Phantasm, I had like 10 of these. I used to PvP in them on an alt. They're now worth 278 million. Are you kidding me? Like, that blows my mind. It just breaks me, that does. We've got some PvP stuff here, so lots of Thrashers. I used to do a lot of Empire ganking because lol tiers, and you know, just stuff really. Couple of Marauders, so we've got a few Marauders here. There's actually a couple on the other accounts as well, but you can see I've got a few here ready to kind of pick up and use. But yeah, this is kind of the ship hangar, as you can see, pretty straightforward. If we look at the ship hangar, about 13 billion now. Everyone should have a Tech 2 hangar. So for me, everything in the game, obviously I make as Tech 2. I make sure I then put at least a stack of it into the Tech 2 hangar. So the Tech 2 hangar is worth about, I don't know, 4 million, let's say. So let's just add it. It's small beer, but let's just add it. It's only 4 billion. It's only 4 billion. It's like 4 billion. That's what you tip people at a restaurant, isn't it? I imagine some people are getting quite angry at me saying that, but there we go. I'm joking, chill. And I think this is kind of my fun part of Tech 2, is really just making sure you have every single module in the game, which isn't here. I mean, this is a poorly represented Tech 2 stash, because this Tech 2 stash is what I move. So whenever I moved around, I would send a battle bus, which would be probably a transport ship, filled with all you would need to wherever we would be staging from. So this is a really good example of the kind of things that you'd be dropping in here. A couple of officer bits, not very interesting good ones, but you know, some interesting stuff. Tend to try and kind of keep on top of this hangar quite a lot. So if we ever sort of get anything that's low, we just go and build it, and that's useful. We have a pretty healthy Tech 1 hangar. Most of this comes from salvage, if I'm honest, but this also is just something good to have on site, because it's all your things like your boosters and things like that. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm not even going to add it, because it's only 1 billion of Tech 1. It's only 1 billion. It's just throwaway. You know, I'd quite happily just throw all this and trash it. I'm joking. We then have what is called modules, but this is actually the blueprint hangar. Now, this is very difficult to kind of explain, so I'm just going to go to my industry view here, because this will help me here. So if I go to, let's see, just originals, and we just show modules, hopefully that is a bit easier to see, because what you see effectively here is really everything that's Tech 1 modules. So here is basically everything you would need in the game. I think there's very few blueprints I don't have. There's probably some. And if I then just break this down to ships, scroll, Where did I go? Should I go past ships? Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Keep going. Ship. We can then see we have some of the blueprints here for the ships. So again, relatively straightforward. Not everything. Now this is where I lost. I would say I probably lost about maybe a trillion ISK, to be honest with you, because I had all the battleships, all the cruisers, all the battle cruisers. I had all of those blueprints as well as quite a few capital things like carriers, dreadnoughts, force auxiliary or whatever they were called. Blueprints, and I lost them because CCP changed the rules while I was offline, and I'm going to moan about it for just 30 seconds, a stream of conscious. But they said if you have a player-made station that goes offline, if it's blown up, all of your assets will be sent to asset safety. Some edgelord developer decided that no, we're going to make it that we want the community to clean up the billions of stations that have been planted because the servers are falling over. Therefore, anything that's dropped, they get to keep. I was not told of this. They warned you via email. I did not get the email because CCP effed up the email that they had for my account. So I did not get warned of this. It's kind of annoying. So I lost a huge amount of assets, and actually I did 50-50 on whether or not to come back to Eve because of that, and I did petition it, and I was told get lost. In a nice way, I'll be honest, they told me to get lost in a very nice way, but it did really infuriate me that they made the mistake, they admitted to the mistake, and then they just give me the middle finger and say, we're not going to do anything about it. You know, go and make it again, basically, they were telling me. So there we go. Rant over. Let's go to Invention. So Invention is where all the T2 blueprints are held. Obviously, there's just a god ton of them. I'm not going to go through them, but there's obviously some things in here that you do need. Let me see if I can find them. So parts blueprints, you obviously need them to make all the parts. They're obviously quite useful. And we have the RAM building things as well. But basically, this is just a hangar full of materials ready to be turned into Tech 2. And let's assume that this is correct. There's about 6.6 of, let's say, in-process materials here. So in terms of assets, we would call that work in progress. Okay, so we're just going to let's put 6 for that, because let's just round down, it's easier. These are obviously the modules. This is mostly things like this. So you see here we've got, oh no, not a huge amount actually. We've only got about 1 billion of Tech 2 products. I think data cores might be worth a few. Let's see how much is there. About 1 billion of data cores. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixture of most things. The parts is probably the most expensive thing. So if I go there you go. So 3.5 billion of parts. Obviously, if you're building anything Tech 2, you need these parts. So that's how that works. Hopefully that makes sense. We then get to the final hangar, which is really where everything's held. So this is, I mean, it's again a flipping mess, but hopefully it makes sense. What we have here is all of the things that we would consider precious. So when I had a corp full of people, anything that was considered precious was put in directors. We obviously controlled security around the ship hangar as well, because we did provide free ships, but obviously things like marauders are just going to be nicked. So we didn't do that. But in the director's hangar, what we do is we put anything in here that's, let's say, of some value. And let me give you some examples. So everybody has a bric-a-brac can. Right? If you don't know what I mean, you call it something else, a jumble can, whatever you call it. This is where all of the absolute nonsense that the game produces, like tags, like these weird tag things, anything really that over the years there's been an awful lot of them. So some of these I don't even know what they are. Like, what is this? Let's have a look. Cards, don't care, but it's interesting, isn't it? Like, this is a team card for the Alliance tournament from God knows when. I mean, interesting. Okay, so I've got it. Some of the things I got from the recent thing, I think this was actually something that was dropped in the recent Halloween thing. Some of these are actually kind of mission drops as well. So, there's nothing of value in here, so let's move on. This is the rescued can of capital blueprints. So this is really what I just happened to have actually in research at the time. So they weren't in station when they were blowing up. And just to give you an example of the bullet that was dodged. So there's 77 billion in capital parts blueprints here, all ME10 P20. So top end pretty much parts. And I do have my Aeon blueprint here, my Nyx blueprint, Avatar, Erebus blueprint. There's a few others that I are in deep space. I can't get to them. I probably would have to go and do a bit of a covert run to try and rescue them, I can't be bothered. I honestly cannot be bothered to do that. And I think this is the issue. If I look at my assets that I have rescued so far, it still represents a third maybe of it, which is a shame in a way, but there we go. Let's look at, before we do, so the Aeon, Nyx, Avatar and Erebus blueprint, that for some reason only one of them is valued. So you see here, I think it's the Nyx. So the Nyx is valued at 20 bill. I've obviously got this to ME7 PE2. I'm actually working on that because look, if you add that to the what do you call it, sciencey blib blob thing, you can do research in the station with it. So 46, is that 46 million? There you go. So you can basically just cheaply add in the station to this stuff. So that's pretty useful. So might continue to carry on doing that. But the Avatar starts to get a bit expensive. So hopefully you can see that. So if I wanted to add another level of ME to this Titan, it would be 7 billion. That's not bad actually. That's probably worth actually thinking about. But right now I'm not making copies of them because I've got tons and tons of copies already. So I'm not in a rush to make any more. So copies, I don't really know if they sell very well anyway. So if I go finding contracts, they're selling for 200 million. That's not bad. That's not bad actually. Oh, actually they've gone up. Look at that, 450 million. All right, we might put a few of these on the market actually. Finding contracts. Oh, they've gone up. Last time I looked, I swear I was looking at basically 200 million. So that's interesting. So we'll put those on. So what you've got, 1.5 billion there. I don't think Nyx goes for much. Yeah, 30 million. I mean, geez, that's nothing. So capital blueprints, they're a bit of a muchness, but they do represent quite a bit of wealth. Message me if you want to buy any of these, by the way, because I don't do anything with them anymore. Clothes, yes, I'm not kidding. Clothes have value. The SPZ-3 torch is worth 700 million. Do you want your monocle? Everyone wants a monocle. So for some reason, it baffles me that people buy that. I mean, let's look at that in the market. So let me link it. So if I go and drop him into there, let's see how much that is currently going for. So a bit less. So some people are buying it for sort of 600. And I don't think many people are buying these. Oh my God, people are buying this. Wow, I need to sell mine. Or put it on. Maybe I should just wear it. So we've got a few things here, Morgue reactions. So we've got some ship skins. There's about 500 million of ship skins. Nothing that interesting there. Skill books, remember that was a thing. You've got Skinner crap, all the crap you get from Skinner stuff. Now with 14 accounts, you get an awful lot of this just by playing the game. You get an awful lot of this stuff. So make alt accounts on alphas if you want to get some of this stuff, because I guess that kind of works. Currently converting everything over to small cans, because currently they're in medium cans. So this is the ammo blueprint can. So you can see there's just all the ammo of the game there. We've got some buffer cans. We've got same with drones, and then we've got the converted into Tech 2 drones. We've got obviously parts, which is empty, but we've got ships as well. So all in all, I think that's a pretty good walkthrough of the assets I've got. If I sort of break this down to, let's do show all, I think when it comes to the value, let's say the majority of the money, it does sit in these capital blueprints. So I think if I go back to my little spreadsheet, I think we're at what, 117. So Trillionaire, just I'll take it. But I'm happy to kind of add things like, I've only priced the Avatar and the Erebus blueprint at 65 billion, because I think roughly that's what they're about selling at the moment. That's what they're on the market for. There is 150 billion now of research costs to do that. So if you add that to that, then you're into the sort of 1.5 trillion. And this is known assets. If I look at my corporate assets, which again I'm not going to do because they're just literally showing you everywhere in the map where I've got very expensive stuff. Unfortunately, there's an awful lot of money there that I can't really be bothered to get to. Maybe over time I will go and do it. One of my fondest moments of returning to Eve was running a a blockade runner, the Spock, through basically low sec to go and pick up a Titan blueprint. That was a great, stupid and idiotic way to move it, wasn't it? But there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. And there you go. That's the assets of Trillionaire. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.